What's up, guys? Welcome back, man, to the Sim Standard Podcast. We appreciate you guys coming through. Myself, SimFBallCritic, along with Smitty and AzureEffect. As you guys know, his schedule has changed, so he may or may not be on the show, but either way, we're going to always rep the three of us. So we got a good show for you guys tonight, man. We're not even going to waste too much time because what I definitely want to get back to, just to be fair to my family, I want to get back to being able to be done at 10 o'clock, on the dot, because, for us guys who are family men, my wife is dealing with my son, and, it's only right for me to be done at that time, to give her a little bit of a break. So there you have it. So we're definitely going to jump right into this thing. Now, I'll give my quick introduction. And, actually, I'll throw it to Smitty first and see if there's anything Smitty has before we get rolling. I'll give a very, 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 very short brief thought on what happened to my Steelers, then we'll jump right into it. So without further ado, Smitty, what's good, man? How was your week? How's everything been going?
Oh, everything's good. Everything's good. You know what I'm saying? Can't complain. It was unfortunate for you and AZ, over the past weekend. But no, not much really to dig into. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just looking forward to football coming up this weekend and everything, see how things go with the playoffs. But outside of that, got these topics to dig into, so definitely want to swan dive into that ASAP.
Yes, sir, man. So, yeah, let me go ahead and be brief. Hey, we lost. It's what I told you guys. Did I not? Did it or not? If you watch Turpentine Tuesday, I see there's some Steeler folks in here. Shout outs to you guys. In case you don't know, this is, like the gaming side of me. So I know some of you guys might just be clicking on because you saw I was live. But this is the gaming thing I do. I'm an EA Sports game changer along with my buddy Smitty here and AzureEffect. We work on Madden and other sports games we give our opinions on. So there you go. But real quick, didn't I tell you that our Steelers defense scared me? I said weeks ago, we're not going to win the Super Bowl. I also said that we had the offense to win the Super Bowl, but the defense, I wasn't sure that they would make stops at key situations, and we didn't do it. It didn't come down to Tomlin or Todd Haley, even though I disagreed with the onside kick at that time. I might not have done it at that moment, but I think maybe he just didn't think we were going to stop him. And some people will say, well, we're not going to stop him with a short field. I said that too, but maybe he just felt like the only way we can win is getting the ball back. I don't know. I didn't agree with it, but that's not why they lost. Those 4th and 1s is not why they lost. They lost because they could not stop a Jacksonville Jaguar team on offense, both running the ball and play action. You score 42 points, you should win the game. If somebody told you, you read in the paper, hey, Steelers scored 42 points, Ben Roethlisberger throws 5 touchdowns to only 1 interception, what would you think? Think they would have won the game, right? Defense lost the game. We're out of it. Now we got to sit back like everybody else and see who's going to win the thing. All right, so there you go. All right, man, let's dive right into these topics. Oh, boy, Smitty, I know I caused a controversy here with this title. I did it purposely because I want people to kind of chew on that as we dive into it, because we're going to really explain to you the main difference with a game like Madden and NBA 2K. Some things me and Smitty talked about offline, but you're going to see where we're coming from with it, in terms of innovation and things like that. But basically, guys, the topics that we want to hit on tonight: would you like to see the abilities and chemistry system that's in MUT currently implemented and tailored to fit franchise mode properly in Madden going forward? That comes directly from Smitty. That's actually his tweet. We talked about that as well, and we're going to dive into that because it's interesting, guys, because you hear different sides of the coin. I speak to some guys who are in the tourney world, or they play that type of gameplay, and they tell me that the abilities and things and those chemistries are not what we think it is. So I think that's why Smitty says have it tailored to CFM. So we'll dive closer into that. Also, we want to talk about, man, why overall ratings in Madden should determine if a player is useful or not. No, I said I read that wrong. The question is why do? So I need to correct that. I need to go ahead and put why do. But it should say why do overall ratings in Madden determine if a player is useful or not. We'll dive into that and kind of give you guys our thoughts on it. We feel like an overall shouldn't mean that the player is useless. And then we also want to, again, get right into the difference between Madden and NBA 2K, which will probably tie all of this together. Sure, this gives us enough to talk about, so we'll be in and out of here by 10 o'clock. And there you have it. So, Smitty, I'm going to throw it to you first, man, in terms of the MUT chemistries and the abilities. Definitely let us know. What are your thoughts on that, man?
All right. Well, the way I feel about it is, systematically speaking, we need to see it in the game because, number one, it's already in there. They don't need to, reinvent the wheel, so to speak. They're already implemented in principle. So on top of seeing the ratings and everything the way they are, like, like I said, and I'll just say this too. For the people that, partook in the poll and everything, shout out to all you guys. Thanks for the votes and everything. It was majority. I think it was like 63% of the vote was yes, they would like to see a system like that in Madden.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I want to see these abilities and everything. And this is a key word. I'm not sure if people missed it or people didn't necessarily catch it. But the key word I'm saying here is tailored. Tailor-fitted to work in franchise. Like, for example, you had Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. When those guys had chemistry, right? So what if you have ability, or well, not necessarily ability, but what if you have a teammate chemistry that would develop a one-to-one with like a primary receiver, or it could be with any one of your receivers. That could be your primary target. And that could be like, you could use football terminology and have that as a potential chemistry that can be developed between you and that receiver, right? So now, as far as the intricate details of how it worked, I don't know, but I'm just saying, having something in principle like that will go a mighty long way. I'm not saying by any shape or form, carbon copy what's done in MUT and just paste it into CFM. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that at all. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that's clear because I'm not sure if people that were tweeting about it got understood that. I'm saying, because I know there's some MUT guys and everything that were like, oh, I don't know if they want that. There's issues with it in MUT. That's not what I'm getting at all. I want to see something that has not been done before. That's what I'm saying. Because it's not in CFM right now, Madden 18. I can't fire up franchise mode and see chemistries and ability, and those abilities and everything. They're not there. But along with the ability, along with the player ratings that are in the system, along with the player traits that are in there, yes, these abilities would stand out. Just like I can't forget, I think it was Stiff or whatever that tweeted a clip with Khalil Mack coming around the edge, and he has that under pressure chemistry or trait or whatever label you want to give it. But he has that ability, and he's able to generate pressure more unique than other high-rated players. That's the kind of stuff that gives you that differential. Guys like him, like when Sim and I were talking about it, guys like him and JJ Watt, those are guys that you give them that kind of chemistry, it makes sense because that's what those guys are known for in real life. That's what those guys generate. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying tailor it to franchise mode and make that stuff make sense. What if you draft a player, and this will be something we'll dive into on the other topics, but what if you were to draft a player that's like he's a 65 overall or something like that, but he's got good block shed and he's got good finesse rush. And what if he's, instead of him being a gold, let's say you take the color coding of the cards you have in MUT. Let's say if you got a gold or silver or bronze, what if he's a base level a base level under pressure trait? What's wrong with that? You see what I'm saying? It's something that he could potentially build upon, and that's something. And what if you and see, this is the thing. It doesn't have to be on the surface when you draft. You just go off of the scouting report. You go off the scouting report. You go off of what his ratings look. What his letter grades are with certain things. And let's say he just so happens to have that trait. That's a bonus you got. It's like, oh, bet I got a base level guy. Now, does that mean he's going to be blowing up offensive lines all the time? No. But it's a means to an end that maybe if you use him on blitzes, like you gradually implement him into your system throughout the years in your franchise or during the season as he gets better. Doing things like that, that's stuff that you see happen in real world. You see players that'll get drafted that are more of a specialist player. They may start off on practice squad, then go to special teams. Then they may be in there for, a particular play or from a particular set. And then before you know it, they could graduate in terms of being part of the rotation. We don't have something like that in Madden. It's basically stockpile your XP. And this was something I was talking with DJ about the other day. Stockpile all your XP and dump him into the player. And now he's legit. Now he's a legit player. Oh, now I can use him for something. Like, it's got to evolve past that. It's got to be much more to the game than that. And that's why I'm saying, take those tools, take those abilities, and just augment it. That's why I feel that they can go real far. They could go really far with just this part of it alone in franchise, but it has to be mapped out right. Along with whatever else they do with Madden 19 or whatever, because I would love to see this happen in Madden 19. Real talk. I'm not saying like 2-3 years down the line. I'm saying now. Like, saying like the next installment, I would love to see them take that chemistry and add that, like take the chemistries and take these abilities and such and make that stuff count. Like, here's another example. Jim Bob, and I'll throw it to Sim after this. Jim Bob Cooter, right? We had Lombardi. Okay, we had Lombardi as our offensive coordinator all those years, right? For the Lions. He wasn't doing nothing. Our O-line wasn't protecting as well as they were able to protect. Now, mind you, we didn't have this dominating talent on the front line as far as our O-line, but it's interesting. Cooter comes in, and now all of a sudden he's able to work it with the team, with the O-line, and now these guys are blocking better. They're giving staff. Our running game was stagnant, but our pass protection was more efficient. And my point, and that's the point that I'm getting at. That's chemistry right there between coordinator and offensive line, which is a point that I've made before. NCAA 14, your offense and defensive coordinators and your head coaches, them having abilities and things like that. Let them have abilities and let them have chemistries that can tie in with not only as a coaching staff, but the offensive line and defensive line, respectively, and secondary and stuff like that. Some people are better at others. Some people are good at some things versus others. But you need to have levels, and you need to have depth to make teams feel different, develop different, play different, bring value to your scouts, to your scouting staff, to your training staff, things like that. There needs to be those layers. And that's what I look at when I see them implement this stuff in the mud. It's like, okay, all right, that's cool. They did that in mud, but I want to see them take this and I want to see them flip it on its head and tailor fit this thing for CFM. People are getting mad about it not working right in mud, but what if they tailor it right and it works right in CFM? That's my point. Make it different. Don't do the exact same thing, but make it different and then make it work. And of course, that's the key thing too. Make it work with a high level of efficiency. That's my key thing with that. So, but I'll throw it to you, Sim.
That's really the main thing that Smitty just said is what I want to hit on as well. It has to work. Like, I think what happens a lot, and this is the reason why I won't say it will never happen, but I think this is the reason why there's always going to be a sense of division with sim players and competitive players, is because everybody has their own opinion and everybody wants something different. And some of these things mean something different to each person. Like, for example, I've talked to guys in the competitive space and I've actually been educated. Actually, I talked to Relly a couple days ago, and I'm not going to, give all the information we talked about, but basically, a lot of times, because he plays in that lane in MUT way more than I do, him and others have been able to say, well, actually, this doesn't work because of this, because of that, or it's just, something to compensate for something else, which y'all have heard me say this before as well. Again, Gibbs and Falls told me years ago, a lot of times there are things that put in the game that's band-aids, but it didn't, fix the original problem. So now this causes another problem. To me, that's the root of the problem right there. First thing they're going to have to do when they start implementing these things is that you got to make sure from the core that these things work. Because I haven't really heard anybody say that, and I could be wrong, but the people I conversate with, I haven't heard any of them say that these things suck because it's a bad idea. It's more so where they don't work, or it's broken, or this is just compensating for something else. So what I'm getting at is, a lot of times, I watch Twitter, even though y'all know I'm very quiet on there now, because to me it's just, I just can't do it. I sit and I talk and I might comment every now and then, but I just watch. But basically, I still see a lot of people arguing over, oh, you shouldn't do this, oh, you shouldn't do that, oh, sim this, oh, competitive that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, why wouldn't you want these chemistries and abilities in MUT and CFM? Because like Smitty said, this is the only, how else do you propose having players be different, or having players have different skills, or having to respect a player differently? Because when Smitty told me that idea, or not the idea, but when he told me that they had released this new chemistry or whatever, and Khalil Mack can generate more pressure. So it's basically, his proximity to the quarterback is further out than others, but it makes the quarterback feel pressure. And just the sense of knowing that Khalil Mack is coming, he throw an inaccurate pass. That is beautiful. That's football. We see this all the time when we watch certain quarterbacks. Oh, here comes so-and-so. They get rid of the ball way earlier than they want to. That is the mere definition of pressure. Now, if you get a sack, oh, great. But think about just football teams in general. Your Aaron Donalds of the world. That dude generates pressure. He makes you get rid of the football from the interior. He might not always get the sack, but the pressure is there. And why wouldn't you want imagine if you get a front four that you've been able to draft or scout, and we're talking CFM now, draft or scout or build a guy up to where, there's many games within the game where you can, train on pass rush, or I know this is a little deep, but send him to a pass rush specialist in the offseason, little stuff like that. And you build up a front four that all have that similar chemistry, or when the four of them are playing, now they get that boost. And now when you play your opponent, he has to literally fear, wow, that front four I got to face. And now he knows his quarterback, depending on his composure, here goes another trait, depending on this guy's composure and his ability and awareness, et cetera, experience, then now that can negate some of that. Because if he's a veteran guy, or if he, he has great pocket awareness, or whatever the skill might be that they come up with, that could help. But if it's a rookie, now let's say my guy gets hurt. Now I got to bring in the backup. Now it heightens back up. Now Smitty's line is creating this false pressure now. Like, I'm saying false because I mean it's in the quarterback's head. You see what I'm saying? That is football right there. I mean, what?
Yep.
Why wouldn't we want that? So I think when people look at it, Smitty, the argument is wrong. It's everyone is not everyone, because it's a good amount of us to see the green light, but a lot of people are getting stuck with the idea and they're not seeing it through. Same thing with MUT. Why haven't Smitty and I and Azure and some of us other guys haven't really been into MUT over the years? the main thing we always said, it ain't no player differentiation. There's no separation, no differential with these guys. Okay, yeah, this guy's faster. Oh, okay, this guy has a 91 zone. And blah. But I want Dion to be Dion if I get him. Or if I get Jim Brown or somebody like that. I want them to be that person and have his skills and his animation, et cetera, et cetera. And that would even draw me into much more because I would want to build, maybe I build an all-time Steelers team where I could get a Troy Polamalu that might jump over the pile on you. Like, this is what I'm saying. That should work in both areas, especially in the competitive space. If I could, I know some of them might get mad at me here because they're going to say, hey, you don't play competitively, but wouldn't it be more competitive even however the gameplay is? I'm just talking about from a roster standpoint. Because that's what they do now. You try to get these guys, certain guy to play with in salary cap. Now, wouldn't it be more strategic if you had these guys and your abilities and your chemistry things actually worked? So as far as Mutt, I feel like they just got to fix it. But yeah, definitely find a way to put that in the CFM, man.
Oh, see, and then like what Kia just said here in the chat here, QBs have a sense pressure trait. See? So you got players, so you got your counteract right there. See, that's right what I'm saying. Trade off, man. You got that. See, that's the stuff. Now think about this. You do drills, right? You do your quarterback drills. Like this is going back to PS2 days, but what if you did your quarterback pocket presence drills and you keep working at it and then you can start to develop that trait? Let's say you don't have it necessarily, but that's something you can develop. And then you get a base level, and then you can get all the way up to elite. You know what I'm saying? But it can regress too, because as your quarterback gets older, things are going to change. They're going to go up, go down, things like that. But that right there, that's spot on. And that's what I'm saying. Tailor the stuff for franchise, man. Perfect example. There you go. Man. Like,
boy, I'm gonna say something that's gonna piss us off, piss all of us CFM guys off. Just imagine if they would have continued with dynamic player performance and by now they also have chemistry and abilities in the game. Just imagine how your roster management would be. That now that your guy, and because see what I would want to see, and I think dynamic performance was going down that road, where guys can be up or down in the game. Like inside of the game, they can start playing bad or they can play better if they get on a hot streak. I mean, just imagine if they would have stuck with that. Come on, man. To me, it's not a question for CFM guys whether it should be there. Again, look outside of the box. Don't look at just, no, it's terrible in Mutt. Oh, it doesn't work in Mutt. We're not talking about that. And that's what I was, explaining to some of the competitive guys I spoke with, because they've even told me, nah, y'all don't want that in CFM. I'm like, no, we absolutely do, but we want the system to work. Because I don't know any other way that you create this player, these likenesses and them being different than the other. How else do you do it? It's got everybody praises 2K's badges, right? That's what we're talking about here. Those type of things. And even Rex has said, and Smitty probably remembers this, Rex has even challenged the idea before because he was like, well, he's basically said, is that sim? And I don't think at that time Rex saw it from the same way that we're presenting it. I think now he understands what we're trying to say. But even him before a couple years ago, I've seen him say, well, that's really not a sim thing to have these boosts. And we're like, no, we're not talking about boost. We're talking about tailoring it specifically to a progression-based mode. Franchise mode has always been about, and what the reason why we play it is not only are you trying to take your team to the Super Bowl, but most of us love football so much, we also like the team building aspect and seeing what guy can turn out to be a beast and a Pro Bowler. And it's about team building. What other way can you make a mode like that fun and make you have to really manage your roster than, in the draft and scouting really mattering? And if you're finding these guys with these, here it is again. I keep cutting my own points off. If the abilities and the chemistries and all that was there, look at how different the draft would be. And scouting. And of course, let's get our coordinators in there if we can get those in the game. Think about that. I'll use these Pittsburgh Steelers as an example. What's the biggest issue we have right now on defense? There's two areas that is the biggest concern. Middle linebacker with and without Ryan Shazier, because you remember, guys, Steeler fans, coming into the season, we didn't necessarily know if Vince Williams was going to be the guy, right? Shazier goes down and all you know what breaks loose. I mean, people just running off. It's pathetic. But where's the other huge problem that most Steeler fans would agree to? That good old guy, Mike Mitchell. And like I told you guys, I don't call professional athletes garbage and bums. I don't do that anymore. They made it further than I did. I will just say he's not as good as some of the other free safeties in the league. So imagine now in Madden, I can literally go in and find a ball hawk safety, a cover safety. I could go in and find an Ed Reed guy. You know what? I want that type of safety. I'm willing to give up the big hitter, and I'm willing to give up, the solid run defender. I want a rangy safety. And I can go in the draft in Madden, and I'm scouting, and my scouts are telling me, oh, man, this guy's abilities, he can do this, he can do that, he can do. Oh, you know what? I think he'll be the guy. You see what I'm saying? Anybody who knows the Steeler offense, defense, the two inside linebackers have separate jobs. You can't draft for that in Madden. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with your buck or your will. None of that matters. This is what we're talking about, folks. Being able to have these abilities and traits and what they can do. And then, of course, the chemistry can be in all different areas, because Smitty knows where I'm going with this one. Before y'all saw it in me and Smitty and Azure had a conversation with the guy who implemented it. He was talking about, what would y'all think about this being in CFM? And I'll give y'all the example again that he gave us that blew our mind. He was like, I'm thinking like maybe, you have a quarterback and a rookie receiver hasn't practiced during the week. And he comes out, and now you got to put him in the game. And, the quarterback is giving him an audible. He hasn't practiced. He doesn't have chemistry with the quarterback. He runs the wrong route, and you throw an interception. Would y'all be good with that? And the three of us was like, what? Like, those are the type of conversations that was told back then by a dev who's no longer there, unfortunately. But this is what we're saying, man. Like, that level of football is what most of us hardcore sim heads, that's what we want. It's fun for us. And, and if people don't really want that, then, like I said, you have to, in my opinion, you have to tailor franchise mode, Smitty, and this could bring me to another point. Franchise mode needs its own identity. It needs its own identity, and we need to stop wavering, because MUT is MUT. We know what that is. We know what MUT is all about. We know what MUT champion. We know what that is. Franchise mode must be the mode in the game that replicates the NFL football experience from top to bottom. And I know that's a different point, but I think y'all get what I'm trying to say. All of that stuff should matter in there. Because, hey, you look at these other games and, 2K. We're going to talk about that a little later, but yeah, Smitty, I fully agree. And when you told me about that prep, because I still ain't see the video, but when you told me about how he was getting pressure, and the sense of his pressure made that guy throw an inaccurate pass. Yeah, come on, man. Come on. But it has to work, people. So for anybody who's misconstruing what we're saying, we're just saying you need some type of system that's similar to chemistry and these abilities in CFM that's tailored for CFM, tailored for a mode that is about progression. You know what I mean? We have to find a way to leverage that and make it work to where it's sensible and it's realistic. Obviously, we wouldn't want, any kind of boost. I'm not in favor of that. But we got to find a way. The weapons. Madden 08 already had it. You got to have that. That's really all we're saying, but blow it all the way out. Again, I always use this example. I want to be able to go into the draft and draft a slot corner. I want a slot guy. I don't need, I don't want to just say corner. And here's what's funny, and I know Kia knows this, and Smitty. Have y'all ever looked at the description of some of these players when you draft? Man to man, zone corner. And then it'll say prototype, versatile linebacker, pass rusher. It's all there. Yeah. The idea is there in writing. And like Kia said, go look at some of the traits, even though some of the players have the same ones, but it's already built. Just expand on it and make it realistic. That's all I'm saying. What else we got on this particular topic, Smitty?
I don't know. I really don't have anything else outside of that. Without alluding into later topics, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't necessarily want to do that as far as making points, but I'll go back to it accordingly. And see, that's another good point there too. I like what Kia just said. Said Zan had streamed earlier and tested out that under pressure chemistry and said it's not overpowered. So, okay. He'll have a high. Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. See, all right. But that's the whole thing. See, I like the fact that it's not overpowered abilities and things like that. So I'm with that. But no, that's all I have. That's all that I have in regards to that. Well, you know what? This will kind of lead into the OVR talk.
Yeah, that's why I just told Lex we about to jump right into that.
Yeah, because the overall. Okay, let me say this. And this was kind of like the point I was saying earlier about drafting a player doesn't necessarily have the ratings, out of this world ratings, but he's still able to be effective. All right, so look, over the years, like what Sim said, what if they kept going with dynamic player performance? Well, look down the whole line. What if they dynamic player performance, true step, the way it was in Madden 25, and they only kept building on that? What about the passing accuracies that were in Madden 15? Unfortunately, you guys didn't get to experience what we got to experience beforehand. The way it was done was beautifully done before it ended up getting nerfed. Wideout DB interactions in Madden 16 the way they were, where you actually had the fear between the offense and defense. And then you look at the organic knockouts that were done and how people were getting sacked and were fumbling the ball and everything, despite it being a bug, regardless of that part. Fix the bug, but still. Okay? And you if you have all those elements in the game, phenomenal game for a great degree as far as core gameplay with all those elements. But see, this is the thing that I'm getting at. I'll say that to make this point about the OVR aspect. If you had all those elements tied in together on the field, you have the makings to say, man, okay, I could draft a player that may not be all that good, but he has this ability on defense. He has that ability on defense. These traits are going to stand out because of how the game translates it. See, one of the problems people had with wideout DB interactions was that, it's too overpowered. 70 overall wide receivers are mossing these 90 overall defensive backs and blase splee. Okay, how are you playing them? How are you playing them defensively? I looked at a good number of clips, and I've seen a good number of people playing the ball a lot. Well, if defensive backs in real life played the ball in the NFL, players would be DBs would be getting mossed all week every single weekend, easily. Because if they're that good as a wide receiver, I mean, if they're that good at catching the ball as a defensive back, they should be a wide receiver. If they're that good at catching, but they're not. So that's why when I see a player that's not as good come away with passes and come away with receptions, that's supposed to happen. He's a wide receiver. You got to learn to play the receiver versus how you play versus using play ball. And the thing is, it's something to expand upon and build from. That was the starting point. They just needed to continuously build on that and keep working on that, and then they would have had something nice if they just kept that the same. Because you can have defenders that don't necessarily have the best rating, but because they played the ball the right way, or they played the situation the right way, they could break up those passes. They can break up they'll break up the pass better because how they play the receiver or how they get involved on the play. Versus just, simply put, I hit triangle, I hit Y, I should make this play on defense or offense just because. Like, no. But the thing is, with making those players actually matter, you have to go into an uncomfortable place with Madden and take the game to a level that people aren't really comfortable with. Overall, people are not comfortable, and it's the way the game is right now. It's not comfortable to have guys that are like 60s and 70s overall, and they actually perform. They actually do some good for you. You know what I mean? It's not in the game like that. It doesn't flow like that right now. And that was something that looked like it was on the cusp of what they were trying to do. But the problem is, and Lex, you hit the nail right on the head. People are scared of change. That's the reality. That's the bottom line reality at the end of the day.
No, not the Madden crowd. You got that wrong.
No, that's the truth.
Love change. They don't even ask for patches. What are you talking about?
But you see, but the point is that, and when it comes to how, like, for example, I'll give you an example. Back in NCAA 05, PS2 days, I recruited a 1-star wide receiver, and he was tall, but he didn't have the speed, and he was not great at catching. I only used him on certain plays and certain sets, but I lined him up against, that great defensive back that had all the composure in the world, and he was one of the star players. So he had the glowing star and all that stuff. But this player mattered because of his size. So, and he could still catch the ball because he is still a wide receiver. He's not great, but he's serviceable. And see, all the elements mattered. What position he was in, his height, that mattered. If the DB was in better position, he would make the play. You see what I'm saying? So my point, so that's why I make that point to say this, is that you should still be able to pick players. And I mean, it shouldn't just come down to size and speed, and that's it. But the ratings that they have, you should be able to serviceably utilize players throughout. See guys that do real well at the specialty that they're needed for. Studs because of it. You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean they have to have a 90, they don't have to be 90 plus overall just to be good. They could be serviceable and still have a 70 rating or whatever, but it's because of, like I said, traits and abilities. And this goes to a discussion that Sim and I have had. We've had it on this show many times. I would love to ultimately see numerical ratings go away and it be all about rating, not ratings, excuse me, abilities and traits. And, seeing signature skill badges and things like that, like we see in 2K. I would love to see that kind of stuff happen in Madden, i.e. like what's in MUT right now. But like I said, tailor it to fit it the right way. in Madden. And I mean in Madden, in franchise mode. That's the kind of stuff that we need to see done, man. No, and that's the way I feel about it. It's like every player you draft or bring into the fold at a base level should be able to adequately perform because they are good enough to be an NFL player. You brought them in to be that. They should be able to do that. So it's like it's something that it's an element that needs to be brought in. And it needs to, I should say, not just brought in, but it needs to take more of an effect versus just straight up, than just, well, they got this hard-coded rating, so that means they're going to stop them every time. Well, not necessarily. What if that defensive end that he may not be as strong, but he has better moves, or he has, like there should be some potentials that they have to be better. And I say that because look, Richard Sherman, right? When he was drafted, when he was first brought into Madden, I think his first rating was in the 50s. You know what I mean? 50s or 60s or something like that. He was bad. He was a poor rated player. Now, how can you develop him legitimately and build him up in the game based off of the way the game functions and plays right now? Could you progress him like how you would in the actual NFL season and see him actually build up? You got to cheat the system basically, and you know what I mean, and just say I'm gonna pump all this XP into him. I'm gonna pad the XP and just dump it all in him all of a sudden. Now he's serviceable. Like, no, it has to go beyond that. You see what I'm saying? It has to be tailored to make it more realistic and be able to build that stuff out. Even if a player has low awareness, all right, he could have 50 overall for awareness. But if the ball is thrown and he's a defensive back, the pass is thrown and it's literally coming his direction, he should be able to still make a play on it because in principle, he is a NFL defensive back. He should be running right up to it and saying, oh, this is money right here. Boom. Now, he may drop it, but that's why he's on defense. But outside of that, he should be able to go right up there and make a play. That's the point that I'm getting at. And the thing is, Madden does not translate that right now. Like somebody had tweeted a play. They tweeted a play of that where the D-back, he moved out of the way on purpose and let the receiver catch the ball. He was right there, the ball coming straight at him, and he just moved to the side, and the receiver caught it, ran it in for 6. That's the stuff I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? Now, of course, that was more of a flaw, but the point is that that's the stuff that needs to be tightened up in the game, man. It's got to matter across the board. Serviceable players. You got to have your utility guys. Of course, you have your guys you expect to be down, your three down guys, but you also got to have utility guys because they do good too. Anthony Zettel ain't a beast, for the Lions. He's not a beast player at all. But at the same time, he's made some plays where it's like, dang, okay, look at him making plays. Mm-hmm. But right now, it doesn't matter. Just like what you said earlier, Sim. And like what it was said here in the chat, you can pick and drop players in whatever slot you need. It doesn't matter. There's no real value. There's no true value to that player overall being put in the game right now. Like if I put a guy in that's only good for certain sets, he should not look good in every set. All of a sudden, or he should throw chemistry off. There should be something wrong with having that particular player in place. See what I'm saying? And it's not in there right now. The game doesn't feel like that, and it needs to be. So that's my take on it, though, man. But I'll throw it back to you, bro.
This is all good stuff, man, and I can't wait until we slide off into the difference between Madden and 2K, because just reading the comments, some of the comments are making our actual points, Smitty, what we talked about earlier. I can't wait to get into that segment, but just to comment on a couple things real quick. First of all, guys, we always have to acknowledge that your opinion is your opinion. It's just that simple. There's no facts when you're talking about a video game and your enjoyment of it. That's your opinion. I say that because I always see people reference old games, 2K5, this and that. It is my belief, and I've been said this now. I probably said this in 17. If we're just talking about on the field, I think Madden is better than 2K5. Listen to what I'm saying. Just on the field. Because there's things that happen in Madden that 2K5 didn't have. Obviously, 2K5 didn't come out anymore. But there's definitely things that Madden has implemented that we never saw in a 2K football game. However, there's a whole lot of things in 2K5 and 2K8 that I still like more than I like Madden. But I don't understand why people get so bent out of shape when somebody shares their opinion, or I see one of you guys in here said, oh, if somebody can't see that it's better than the other, you just buy it. Why are we still on that? Why is somebody biased because their opinion of something is different than yours? I don't understand that. To me, the real biasness is where I see a lot of people who even comment here, they favor one company way more than the other, and they don't give the other company any credit. That's real bias, in my opinion. And again, that's just my opinion. I mean, obviously, 2K had a deeper franchise than what we have right now. But guess what else did? Madden 05. That's, to me, this is where it always gets lost. I have to say this real quick, Smitty, and we'll bring it back. It seems like because these last years haven't been what we wanted, and we all know that. But people forget that Madden at one time was it. It had every 2K5, in my opinion, again, where it edged Madden and Madden 05. Think back to then. Don't think with your mind now. Think back to whatever age and time period you were in when those games dropped. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't critiquing these games the same way I do now. But if you go back to when you played both of those games, you know why I went back to Madden? I thought the player movement was better. It flowed better than 2K5. 2K5, however, got me with presentation. Oh, them graphics. Oh, the halftime show. Oh, the highlights at the end of that stuff. But on the field, I don't believe I could say that 2K5 blew Madden away or Madden 05 blew 2K away. They were both great games.
Yeah.
And Madden, again, like I said, I think the game was much smoother than 2K5. So what happened? Fast forward to the next year, and we all know the debacle. Madden 06, they trashed the engine, tried to rebuild it, and they haven't recovered since then. And then we've been fortunate since, let's say, Madden 25-ish. New regime comes in, and we've been starting to get some changes. Still ain't got what we wanted to be. And this is why we're having these debates. This is why we're having a topic about implementing these things in CFM. But what I keep saying, man, in order for our community to grow, we got to stop with all. And some of y'all, let's be real. Some of y'all shouldn't even be a part of it because you're always going to be hung up on all of that. The past is the past. All we got right now is Madden football. So if we're not here trying to get it better, what's the point? What's the point? I mean, you win then. If you want to be the one to say, oh, but so-and-so is better, we all know that. I don't understand why we always got to have these discussions. We all know that. We all know that Madden in the past was better. That is not what we're arguing here. Our mission as a collective community should be a strong voice for change. Not all of this dumping this and F this. That stuff don't. I mean, I'm not saying you can't vent. We all are doing that. But what I'm saying is we waste too much time within this community. Again, remember, I see y'all out there on Twitter in some of your videos. We waste too much time still bringing up all of that. That doesn't matter. What we need to be doing is being in their face and their throat, on their neck about this is what we need now for this game. And that's it. You know what I mean? So,
all right.
But yeah, man, I just, again, respect everybody's opinion. It doesn't make a person biased if they like 2K over EA and if they like EA over 2. That's just what that person prefers. Now, again, if you're really unbiased, we all should be able to look at what 2K does great, what they did great in their football products and NBA 2K. And we should be able to look at what Madden has done well, what NBA Live is doing well. I mean, it ain't just us, y'all. We ain't the only ones, because I see the PES and FIFA crowd going at it heavy. I'm like, they're both good games. Like, what's the beef? So I'm just saying, man, we just got to be more united. You know what I mean? Like, at least for the most part, that's where the competitive crowd has the edge on us, because most of them are kind of marching along with, to the same beat. And with us, I don't know what we're doing over here. I don't know. I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all, man. But let's move on to the next topic here. And I'll kick it off, man. I'll see Smitty may have stepped away for a quick second, so I'll kick it off. Let's talk about the difference between 2K and Madden. And actually, wait a minute. Before I do that, I'm tripping. I didn't even give my thoughts on the overall. So let me do that real quick, and then we'll jump into the other one. I'll be quick with it. Exactly what Smitty said, man. I mean, to me, the overall rating should just be where this guy is ranked, quote unquote, overall. But it should be just like when you go to an NFL combine, right? You might say, Mel Kiper or one of these guys might say, this guy is the 10th best corner in the draft. But then he'll say, this guy really does a great job with press. He's a press, bump and run type of corner. He's strong there. So I should be able to bring this guy in for specific situations. I saw a couple of you guys out there, shout outs to all of y'all that was saying physics. That's where I was going with it. If they can get the game to where height and weight and momentum and the physics of the physical body is at all times working, then we can get what we want. Because listen to this. If I have this guy who's a big guy, he's good with man-to-man press coverage, I should be able to bring him in on a key situation where I just need you to keep this guy from getting off the line. Don't let him win. It's 3rd and 10. We know they're going to try to go to him. I need you to jam him with all your might. And if my guy is an excellent jam press corner, I should be able to bring him in to do that, even if he's a 70 overall. Like NYKia said, everybody should have some level of competence. He might not be the greatest guy, so here it is. Here's the fair part. If he gets beat on the press, then wheels done came off. then we got Ross Cockrell out there. Sorry to pick on you, Ross Cockrell, but this is what we experienced when you was with the Steelers. Again, I'm not going to call the man garbage or a bum. He's a professional. I'm not. But just not that good a corner compared to the other corners in the NFL. That's what he was good at, being a physical body. But we all saw what happened when he was out in space and had to cover. That's what we need Madden to do. Remember that game, Steelers fans? And I know I always try to plug the Steelers. Remember the game last year? I want to say it was last year when we played Cincinnati the first game, and we held AJ Green like 3 catches for 30-some yards or 40 yards, whatever it was. What did they say after the game? Yeah, that was the plan. Put Ross Cockrell on him, his height and his size and his measurables, and him being able to be more of a press guy, held him in check. You can't do that in Madden, and you should be able to. If I need a guy to plug the gap, I mean, he's just a big nose tackle that is strong, and I just need him on this 3rd and 1 from from their own 30 or whatever. I just need him to get low and dig. I just need that strength and that bull rush to come out. I don't care about your tackling. I just need you to blow up the play. You should be able to do that. Overalls should not dictate how good, let me take that back. I said that wrong. Overalls shouldn't be able to dictate what a player can do. How good he is overall, of course. But that overall rating should not solely dictate what a player is able to do. I should be able to use him for a specific situation. And then here's the kicker, guys, in case y'all forgot. We were told this. We were told this by the dev team. Y'all heard them say, well, because they're leaning more towards it. I don't think they flushed it all the way out. That's just my personal opinion. But they did say this, that's what they're leaning towards. Guys being good in certain areas and they can still be successful. That is if that's what they are going to keep building on, this is the stuff Smitty and I are talking about. But what we're saying is right now, it doesn't feel like that happens. It just doesn't. And without having the weight and height and all of that stuff being impactful, you still get the situations where, the jam animations is really just the dice roll. And that's cool. I know you got to govern a game, but can we get physics involved in this situation? Then the stuff we're talking about really matters. Again, same example. Then if I have a press corner, big guy, strong, and he's a bum, he's in Madden, quote unquote, he's a bum. He say he's a 72 overall, but all I need him to do is press this little guy on this 3rd and 10. Then I should be able to bring him in for that. And I mean, he locking it down. If he's that much bigger than this guy and he gets the perfect jam, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be, no, the dice roll says that this guy's rating is higher, he's gonna win. No. We got to move away from that. So that's just my 2 cents, man. Smitty, everything he said, I fully agree with. And Smitty, I told him that we're going to slide into the next topic, man, as we hear at the top of the hour. I'll go ahead and kick this one off, man, because I think we could probably go a whole hour with this situation here. So the difference between Madden and 2K. This is an interesting topic, guys, because like I said, even if you just look at this chat, you can clearly see what we're about to say is playing out within all of you guys' personalities, right? People always say that 2K, NBA 2K is head and shoulders better than Madden. NFL 2K is head and shoulders better than Madden, right? Quite often, when you ask people to say, tell you, well, what things? A lot of times they slide away from gameplay and they start saying, oh man, the franchise mode. Oh man, this mode and that mode and all the bells and whistles, all the detail, which is all great. Don't get me wrong. I love the first time, and when I played 2K, I don't even remember which game they started doing this in. I want to say it was maybe 14, maybe 15. Could be before that. I don't know. But the first time I was on the sideline, I went to shoot, and the dudes got off the sideline. I was like, yo, that I love it. I love details. I love immersion. I love presentation that replicates the sport. Because to me, that is a simulation. A simulation sport should replicate what you see on TV, on the field, on the hardwood, in the boxing ring, in the octagon, whatever sport you're playing, right? So it needs to look and feel like that game. But what gets glossed over quite often, there's not a whole lot of people that talks about the problems that exist in 2K. Now, I'm not blaming anybody. The point we're making is, have we gotten to the point where do you want Madden to just continue to innovate and push all of these things, even continuing to have core problems? And it kind of leads back to, the conversation that Smitty had with, guys like DJ, Dez, and others, on Twitter. And we're not talking about, the part where everyone, got upset. We're not talking about that. And we're over that, by the way. Everybody has moved on past that. But we're just talking about Smitty making a comment like saying, yo, and I'm not talking about to them. We're just general comment. Gameplay got to be right versus somebody else saying, no, they need to blow out franchise. Because here's the example. Numerous people are saying that we need to plug in everything that Deuce Douglas has on his list, dump it in Madden 19. And if they could get that in Madden 19, I'm straight. Wait a minute. Wait, time out. So are we saying that just do that and let's keep all of the gameplay problems? That's the point we're making is that's where 2K, in my opinion, is different. Now, listen, if you get into the minor details, of course, 2K has some better stuff, just game to game. The player movement alone in 2K is, come on, man. Y'all know that's my heart right there. And I've been in talks with the team, and we're going to see. Because they have advised me that they know player movement is an issue. They've said that even publicly. That's something they want to address. I'm hoping that's something we're going to see very soon. I really do. Because to me, y'all know my thing. Player movement and interactions, that makes the whole game. I mean, it's so many things that would clean Madden up, would be cleaned up by the player movement and physical interactions. A lot of the stuff we talking about might not even exist if those two things were done. So like stuff like that, 2K has the animation library, superb. Like I said, the player movement, ball physics, it's improved a little, but it's still got its issues, same as Madden. But what's one of the areas that both of them really has issues? Those 2-man sequences, man. Now, I will say this. 2K has done a decent job with eliminating some of them, but they're not gone, folks. They're not gone. They're not gone. 2K, Philly makes a good point here. 2K is really not that physical of a game. If you ask me, between the two basketball games, I think Live represents a more physical presence, even though the paint is a little shaky in both games. But I think Live kind of replicates the physicality a little better than 2K. But other than that, I mean, 2K, listen, they got the animations, they got the details, the bells and whistles, they got it all. I mean, who we kidding? I mean, I'm probably going to be releasing a video here shortly of the franchise that I'm still playing in my league. It's just a great, it's a good game. But it seems as if, man, a lot of people are willing to just have the fluff and allow, the things that are negative to just be there. And we're wondering, Smitty and I both wonder, would you be cool with that with Madden? Would you be cool with them just getting all of the fluff, but still have those hardcore, those core issues that we all get sick and tired of? And again, this is not us picking on anybody, anything like that. Smitty and I come from this perspective because, again, guys, being in the situation, in the relationship we had with the devs, we kind of think like devs. So the things that used to excite me 5-6 years ago is not the same now, because I'm looking at it like, yeah, that would be nice, but if this doesn't get fixed, that's not going to matter. Y'all see what I'm saying? All of the stuff that we just talked about, abilities and all of that, if the player movement still and if the physical attributes don't really matter, if there's nothing really going on in the trenches, then we're still stuck with just the dice rolls dictating everything. And that is, even though the game is deep, I still wouldn't be satisfied with it. So that's an interesting topic, man. But what do you think, Smitty? I already know, but man, tell the people how you feel about that. And like, do you think also that's the main difference between the acceptance of NBA 2K versus Madden?
It plays a good role, because, with all of the, I mean, we all know 2K's got a bunch of issues and everything, but this point here goes back to the poll that I had did. And some of the comments people made was like, no, they don't need to do that. They need to get all these core issues fixed. They need to get the zone play fixed. They need to get blockers being able to bowl over all these defenders and stuff. They need to get all that fixed. And, and even like NYKia made a point, which I agree with the point, and I agree with all that. But he made a point saying that, well, if they just give them the traits, make sure that the ratings are tangible, then they're good. But that's the problem, though. It can't be just that. You need to innovate at the same time. Yeah. Madden has to go to a place where you do something that makes the game uncomfortable. You have to do it. Like NBA 2K13 brought in those signature skills, i.e. badges. And you had badges called Eraser and Chase Down Artist for blocking. You couldn't even block dunks in 2K13. What do these guys do to recover? They didn't patch nothing. They didn't roll nothing back. They didn't do nothing like that. You just had to roll with the game that way for that year. 2K14, what did they make sure to showcase in the trailers? Oh, we're going to have LeBron doing chase down blocks on people trying to dunk the ball and stuff like that. See what I'm saying? They didn't say, we're going to build it. Oh, no, we're going to roll it back now because people feel a certain way. No, we're going to roll with this and keep building on it. Look at my league, the way it is now. And many people marvel over my league. Heck, many people marvel over my GM. They've expanded that badge system that they first started in 2K13 and built it all the way out to the extent it just doesn't affect skill. You also have player morale badges. And then you got team chemistry that's in there too. You see what I'm saying? That game innovated despite having, I mean, look, that game's got problems. That game's got problems that are nearly a decade old. Okay? It has core gameplay issues that are nearly a decade old, if not a decade, maybe older. But they still innovated. And people still marvel at that and make comparisons to what Madden is lacking based off of what they're doing. And yet, Madden and 2K share similar core gameplay problems. I know we make the football comparisons, but even with the basketball, football comparisons, they share similar issues. And see, that's the thing. I presented an idea. Well, not an idea, but, just from base concept. Take the chemistry and abilities from Mutt, put them in CFM. No, we don't need to do that. We just need to make sure the core gameplay is tight and the ratings matter. No. We got to stop coddling Madden. You see what I'm saying? That's my big deal on it. Yes, I like what 2K did, but see, at the same time, even with the problems, they didn't coddle the game in the sense of still revamping things up and building things out in expansion. They went from association to my league. They took my GM and blew that out. You see what I mean? Like, these are modes that you don't have to use VC for. You don't have to monetarily put in a red set. And you get a fully immersive experience despite the core gameplay problems. Yes, there are issues with 2K. No question. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame they haven't nailed the door shut. They should have a long time ago. But the bottom line is that you have a game in Madden that at this point in time, we need to see this game innovate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not concerned. I mean, excuse me. Look, we voiced our concerns 10,000 times over about player movement, tackling, rating tangibility, traits, all that stuff. We've talked about it, and we're seeing the progression happen with that. But it needs to be a straight up, okay, we're working on this core stuff, but check out this brand new stuff we did here. Check out how we revamped what we built off, what we first put in a year ago or whatever. That's the kind of stuff that needs to happen. And it needs to stay put, not to all of a sudden just be spitting the wind because some folk feel a certain way. All that coddling stuff, no, you got to put this game in an uncomfortable place, and people are going to have to be uncomfortable and just going to have to deal with it. Like I said, 2K said it. You know what I mean? 2K said it. 2K did it. And that's the same thing that has to happen with Madden. We need that kind of stuff to happen. Because like I said earlier on, Madden 25, 15, 16, 17, all these gameplay elements that were legitimate elements prior to getting patches and updates and stuff like that happen to it. These were legit things in the game that were needed. And they were nice. They presented a new way to play the game. They presented a challenging way to play the game. It presented the game in a refreshing sense that, okay, now you got to adjust how you play. You can't just play. You can't just go for the INT and SWAT and all that stuff. You can't play the game the exact same way now. Now you got to do it this. Now you have to do this. Now you have to do that. Now you got to be mindful of this and mindful of that. But we say all these things, but then when the change actually even starts to come about, people throw stoppers in front of it and just say, nope, nope, nope. No to the passing accuracies. No to true step. No to wideout DB interactions. No to organic knockouts. No to sack fumbling. It's like, put the stopper on it. Now, we could bring all these elements can come into the game as long as the game feels the exact same. That's why we got what we got right now. It's got to change, fam. Flat out. They got to do what's uncomfortable and just make it hard. Make it challenging. Not make it hard necessarily, but make it challenging. Like, add those layers of depth to the core, like that will affect core gameplay, and then still, do what you need to do to progressively get core gameplay even better. Like Rex said at the end, he said on our stream before, he wants poetry in motion. Man, it ain't there yet. He said on the Muttman podcast, the last game that has my name on it that I could really stand behind and put that stamp on, is NCAA 14. He doesn't have a Madden title yet that he could stand behind and be like, yo, this one, I got to give that stamp on. That's huge. So it's like, we need to see things happen to the game that are going to take it to a whole nother level. And that's why you look at games like FIFA, you look at FIFA and PES and UFC and all that. UFC 3, that game is took out of a comfort zone. They're taking players out of comfort zones with that. You play the first UFC game and play this third one that's about to drop. If you played the beta of that, they're taking people out of comfort zones. And that's what you're supposed to do with the game. You're supposed to give that kind of experience that's like, oh man, I gotta get used to this. Now, I mean, I understand UFC is 3 titles versus Madden that's got, over 20 plus games out. I get that. But what I'm saying though is that you can tune the experience. There are things you can add on top of the core that are going to give that expanded depth. And that are going to make people have to adjust, make people, to an extent, have to recalibrate how they play the game. That's what they're going to have to do, along with adding to the core. Like, I want to see defensive line stunts and stuff like that. I want to see legit. I want to see the play. I want to see them play legit. I want to see all that stuff unfold. I want to see players. I want to see animations that showcase guys make mistakes and stuff like that on the field and everything. Add the animations, put in the necessary ones, but it doesn't have to be a 2-man sequence. FIFA, they do a great job of, even though that, yes, are there 2-man animations in there? Yep, they do have them, but they're so subtle. It's like you don't really lose control at all. And same thing with PES. Those games, the animations are so subtle in terms of what you do, what you input in your control. It feels virtually 120. It doesn't even feel like you lost control at all. But with Madden, it's like we keep losing it and losing it and losing it. We need to see it regain back. And like the point I had made last week, I would love to see it where the QB can look off a defender and they stay in their position because he looked them off, only to throw it to the wide open target, like the national championship game. See what I'm saying? That stuff should matter. Those are the kind of things that are in NBA 2K. Now, does it work perfectly in 2K? No. But does it work, though? Yes. And that's the thing. Implement it. Does it work perfectly? No. Does it work at the highest rate that it can be? No. But is it something that they can continuously build upon and make better over time? Yes. Madden's got to do that. It doesn't have to always, like the thing is with Madden, it seems to be with Madden, it's like all or nothing. It either has to 100% work or take it out. No, that can't be the case. No. You know what I'm saying? That you have to get, and like what my man Lex has said, People are scared of change, and that's true. I saw it in that poll. Looking at some of them comments, some of them kids, they scared of change. The fear is right there. And some of these dudes they've been talking all year long about how Madden needs to change. Madden needs to be this. Madden needs to be that. As soon as I come up and say, okay, guys, how about this for change? No, don't do it. Well, why the heck not? You know what I'm saying? It needs to happen, man. For real. And see, think about that. Real player movement tech, like what Live Philly talking about. How many people would really be able to handle something like that in Madden? You couldn't even handle you couldn't handle True Step. So how you gonna be able to handle that in Madden? That's what I want to know. Dudes complain, how come I can't turn up the sideline on a dime like how I'm used to? I want you to go outside and sprint in a straight line and turn on a dime. Then tell me how. Tell me how that makes sense. I'm a mash turbo running towards the sideline. I should be able to just go, ping. No, it doesn't work like that, fam. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that, bro. And yeah, I mean, QB vision, we said before, we would love to have QB vision or something like that back. That was a good mechanic to me. Some people didn't like it, but that's something that I did like. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, like I said, player movement, having a true to life system in the game. People say, yeah, man, they need to have that true to life movement. Okay, let them put it in the game. You telling me you're going to be okay with that? Y'all didn't, like I said, a good number of people didn't like True Step. And it wasn't all tourney guys either. So it wasn't tourney guys and casuals that was just saying that either. Yeah. So if you got a problem with that, please let them dudes do a revamp player movement system. And dudes be whining and complaining. And it goes across the whole board. No. Ain't gonna be able to handle that. Ain't gonna be able to handle stuff like that. See, and that's what I'm talking about. These meat and potato things. The main course elements that we need. This is the stuff that's gonna take Madden to another level. And we just talk about it in base concept. We ain't even seen nothing. I bet if I put a poll up and say, y'all want player movement like UFC 3, I bet you people be like, man, no, I don't want nothing like that. Watch. There'll be people that'll say yes, but then you also have some people that'll comment and be like, no, they don't need to do that because they need to fix the core. That is the core. Player movement's the core. But would you be able to handle it if they had a system where they moved in that essence? Like it was real time. It was like real player movement. Like they just got a system that is like that. You see what I'm saying? Now, I will say this. All of these things I'm talking about, put this in sim setting. I don't give a care about a tournament guy. Put this in sim setting, okay? Tournament guys could tweet me all night long. Put this in sim setting and make this stuff work in sim setting. If tournament guys want the game to be like Street Fighter and they want that Street Fighter kind of execution, let them have it. But me, I want to see what happens on Sunday as effective as possible with abilities and all that stuff. I want my CFM to have the abilities and the chemistries and all that good stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see happen. That's what I want to see so that it could build up that way because that's what needs to be done, man. So, but that's my feeling on it, man. I'll throw it to you.
Oh, this is so funny. I'm going to address a couple things in the comments, man, because I feel like Smitty, it seems like it's important every week. You would think by this time it shouldn't be anymore. But before I do that, I absolutely agree with Smitty. I mean, listen, the point of us saying this, and even the reason why we both came at it at different angles is just to show everybody that none of these games are perfect. None of them are. Right. They all have problems. But what keeps you reeled in is how deep the game is, how much depth it has. Me and Smitty both agree. Madden just needs to push. I mean, we were on that train. Y'all know we were when all we talked about was no gameplay first, and we still feel that way. But the reason why I still play 2K is because I have an enjoyable experience with it, even though there's BS that happens in every game. But I love the depth of my league. We're going to play these games regardless. We're either going to buy them or we're not. But if we have these games at our disposal, if you choose to purchase it, you want it to be as deep as it can be, whether it's perfect or not, because none of them are going to be perfect. So Madden definitely has to innovate, make the game, give us what we want, give the people what they want. Now, that brings me back to what I want to talk about. I really don't understand why some of you guys are still missing the boat, man. I don't understand why some of you are still pointing the finger at the developers in terms of innovation. Now, it's fair to critique them on what they have in their product. We all do. We all say this is broken, this is messed up. Me and Smitty, it's not a week go by, we don't send feedback. But why are we still asking the questions that we have answers to? And y'all can't use this excuse no more of, well, you know, we're not in the building like you. Yeah, y'all don't have to be. Because not only do we tell you, the creative director has told you verbatim. For those of you that don't know what verbatim means, because I know there's some young kids that watch this, it means that he has literally said these words. Hey, man, the internal battle, a lot of times we're dealing with people that they're not even fans of football. They don't even know why this is important to be in a football game. They're just concerned with what can we do to make the game sell. Your creative director of the development team has said that out of his own mouth. We all and everyone here in this stream should now understand what the problem is with Madden. And even I saw another guy in here says, why do they focus on every other game except Madden? Well, that's an interesting question, because me and Smitty have also said this. Wouldn't you think that if Madden was the game, that it would have more done? Follow what I'm saying. It's funny that FIFA doesn't have this problem. And FIFA outsells Madden or Battlefield. And the reason why I'm saying that is because that completely, it derails the point that people try to make that, oh, they just concerned about the money with Madden. Really? Well, FIFA did quadruple sells Madden, and I could be exaggerating, but it clearly blows Madden out in sales.
They sell like 14 mil. They sell like 14 million copies.
This is what I'm saying. And that game is innovating. So y'all miss me with that whole, well, they just worrying about the money. No. Because it should be FIFA. That should be the nickel and dime game if that's what they're doing. Basically what it is, guys, again, I don't know why this particular marketing and boss team for Madden, but Rex said it. These guys they're just worrying about, can we sell it? That's all they're worrying about. Literally. We can't sell that. No, that's not. No, we need a feature. No, that's what they're fighting with. So what I'm saying is, stop being unfair to the developers in this regard. Keep seeing people say they just can't get it done. That's the same as me calling up a guy on the Steelers a bum. I don't play professional football. So, I mean, how can I really say, like, how do y'all know the developers can't do it? That's to me, that's the craziest comment, man. Because I'm telling you right now, them guys can do it. Vic Lugo, when he was there, could absolutely do it. Cody Launchbar, comes from Kobe, excuse me, I said Cody, who came from MLB The Show. Oh, he can do it.
Yeah.
Clint Oldenburg. Oh, yeah. He can. Anthony White, A-Dub. Oh, yeah. These guys are very talented. Me and Smitty know some of the engineers. Trust me, they can do it. I'm telling you now, it has nothing to do with the ability of the developers and engineers. They have design plans that have shared with us that we was like, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that far. So come on with that, man. I mean, the only reason why I'm saying this, guys, is just like this is what y'all are doing. It's like the mouse and the running around the wheel. It's like, why put yourself through that? And we know what when you know what the truth is, deal with the truth. Now, no, I don't have the answer as far as how do we get to the suits. I don't have the answer for that. Matter of fact, yeah, I do. Rex, what I tell y'all that Rex told me when I asked him, listen, how can we be more influential to them? And remember what I shared with y'all? He said, man, listen, if I can't, it's really nothing y'all can do. Said, but what you can continue to do is continue to keep giving the feedback, because the numbers, because remember what he also said in that last stream, we're starting to get people to realize. So that's all we can do is keep giving the feedback. That's why, if y'all wonder why me and Smitty take the approach we're taking now and telling y'all, look, just provide the feedback. We're not wasting our time with all the bickering and arguing, and that's irrelevant. It doesn't help anything. We need more people complaining constructively, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be given the reign and free will to do what they want to do. We'll see. I mean, if we do, they do. And then the last thing I wanted to say, and shout outs to NBA Live Philly, but the whole notion of game changers, we can affect what dog. Come on, man. If y'all don't know what the game changers are by now, listen, man. Ain't nothing I can tell you. If you really don't know, I've told you several times, we are nothing more than an extension of the community that provides direct feedback from the community along with our own and help the devs prove their points. That's what we're here for. Just because we have ideas, how many ideas? Matter of fact, Smitty, I'm going to challenge everybody in this stream. How many ideas have y'all heard me and Smitty come up with? So just because we come up with those ideas, do y'all think that they just magically going to just automatically be in the game? Oh, yeah, we're going to do exactly that, Smitty. It don't work like that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It don't work like that. We're just helping to continue with the feedback. And again, that's why I don't take it so serious, because I know the game. I'm just like, hey, listen, it don't cost me $1 to do this. And as long as they want me to help out, sure, because we have gotten some things done. But at the end of the day, all I'm going to do is keep giving my feedback. They do it. If they don't, dang, maybe next time. I mean, that's really how I look at it. And I hate to always go down this road, but at the end of the day, it's really not that serious. We all want this out of our game, sure. But listen, what I tell y'all, my franchise mode primarily is my league. That's where my enjoyment is right now. I still play Madden. Of course, I do the YouTube thing. Of course, I still play in CSR, Sim Standard Radio. But, I mean, that's not my enjoyable experience. It's not the meat and potatoes that I'm looking for, so I find it in another game. Just that simple. And I get it. I know what you all are going to say. Well, this is all the football week. I know. But, I mean, it's the same thing as your job. Some of y'all guys don't like your job, right? But what do you have to do until you find a new one? Keep working it. You can complain all you want. You either going to quit or you're going to keep going. And that's how we all should treat these games. Keep giving your feedback, and let's do it in a constructive manner, and do it as a unison, and in unison. But the reason why I said all this, guys, is because we get distracted when we keep bickering about the same stuff that we are. Man, look, y'all go ahead and do that if y'all want. We're just trying to say it's not effective, bro. Oh, and I wanted to address this one thing to Lucky W. Now, I don't know if it's you, but it might be, because you've said it here a couple times tonight. But every video I've put out lately, there's somebody that always comes in there and they leave a comment and they say, he never talks about live weather and commentary. So I don't know if it's you, but I'm going to address that while we're here too, Smitty, because I want to get your thoughts. So what the guy always says to me is, why don't you ever talk about Madden's live weather and, you know, Joe Buck and Aikman being in the commentary? First of all, I need y'all to pay attention. First of all, and the reason why I'm saying that is, do y'all remember a couple years ago? I remember this community, and myself included, all of us saying, you know what, they need more local guys. Let's get away from the big names. They need some guys that can sit in the studio together. We got that. We even getting weekly updates. That ain't happening with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. If we go back to Troy Aikman or go to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, it's going to be what we had with Nance and Sims. It was at the time. So all I'm saying is, it's not that the commentary isn't good. I didn't really see a huge leap this year, so was a little disappointed about it. But I think that the commentary is going to be fine. I think the groundwork that they've laid, being able to do those live updates, is only going to get better. So I'm not in favor of bringing in Aikman and Joe Buck. I mean, for the ears, yeah, I like that team. But actually, let me tell y'all something else. And I've been saying this. Tony Romo is one of my favorite commentators right now. I'm just putting it out there. I love the way he calls the game. Just the edge that you hear from him as an ex-player and recognizing plays and formation. Love it. That's the guy I would like to be in here if we're going to go with a big name. That's just me. And then also, as far as the weather, it goes back to what we've been talking about the last 30, 40 minutes. Live weather is a cool feature, but if the weather doesn't affect the game, what good is it? Again, maybe it's what me and Smitty just been saying. Some people are just into the cosmetics. I mean, I get it. I'm not knocking anybody. I understand. Like I said, that's one of the reasons why 2K is as popular as it is now. Because let's face it, there's only a few of us who really dive into the gameplay. Those big numbers that 2K sell ain't because it's a sim basketball game. No. They're just drawn to the bells and whistles, the fluff. Let's just be honest. They're way more casual fans of a sport playing these games than they are sim people. Yeah. I mean, that's just it. But I get it. But what I'm saying is, me and Smitty would be on your side with that. But at the end of the day, if they're going to bring live weather back again, now I'm referring back to something we told y'all a few weeks or months or so ago. Remember we told y'all that they're in the business now of putting in things that actually works. Now, I know that's an oxymoron what I just said, because they are broken things. But listen to where I'm going. They're in the business of implementing things when it can be flushed out. What I mean is, I would assume when they bring live weather back, weather affects gameplay. I don't assume they're going to bring it into the game the way it was in NCAA. Just plug it in. No.
Right.
They haven't been doing that since me and Smitty have been down with this team. They don't do that. Same reason why we haven't seen, well, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine the same reason why we haven't necessarily seen like jersey pulls as of yet. And I'm thinking it's because when they can get a real reach tackle in it, because you see they keep flirting with reach tackles.
Yeah.
I think when they get it to the point where it can literally grab you and pull you and physics and all that is accounted for, then you're going to see the jersey pull come. Just my opinion, because this is what we've seen since we've been there. So I wouldn't expect anything to just be thrown in there and, you know, it's not like flushed out fully. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong there, but just judging at how they've implemented some stuff, even with the NCAA stuff, they're putting little pieces of it in the game each year. Just my opinion on that. But what you got, Smitty?
Yeah, I'll say that, you know, on the weather tip, that's the thing. We want to make sure that the weather impacts the game. Legitimately, it impacts the game, not necessarily from the cosmetic standpoint. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know to what extent weather impacts FIFA. You know what I'm saying? Like how much it impacts the game, the core gameplay. But you got the field degradation, you got all that good stuff. And it looks great. I want to see it done in Madden and look great though in Madden. And I want it to make sense in terms of it being an impactful aspect in the game, as well as inclement weather. Like how when we talked about it back then, remember, I think it was like a Panthers game or whatever. It was raining, but then it was like buckets on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like just all of a sudden, they just got hit. This rain coming. I would love to see them flush it out. And also understand, this is the stuff that's in Battlefield. That's in Battlefield. You could have the wind gusts along with the rain. Like it could come down like it's, one direction. Then it's coming down in a different direction. Then it, they can have it be very impactful. So, I would love to see that be a lot more, like I said, implemented into the game, but brought into the game with a flushed out, sense of how it's going to impact your game in a positive or negative way in terms of outcomes, in terms of kicking field goals and all that good stuff. Once again, it's simulation mode. Okay. That's the main thing in simulation mode. So, the weather affects mainly ball physics and player movement. Okay. So there it is. All right. Bet. Okay, DJ. Thanks. So see that right there. Yeah. See, I'm cool with that. That's what I'm saying. I'm cool with that all the way. I would love it to be impactful in that sense. It needs to be like that in Madden. So that's the kind of stuff that I would want to see. What was the other point that you had said, Sim? The other point that you were talking about?
I'm trying to slip my mind. I said so much.
What you had said. What was it? You talked about the play. Talked about the player movement. Dang. What was it you were just saying? It was something else you were saying I wanted to chime on.
Oh, man. Degradation. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Man. Let's just say this, guys. I'm going to be very, very tiptoeish here. It could be better than what it is. Let's just say that. Yeah, go ahead, Smitty.
I remember the jersey pulls.
Oh,
the jersey pulls thing. Okay, look. See, the thing that really has me curious and optimistic, curiously optimistic, basically, is because Rex in that Muttman podcast was up here talking about, oh man, we see things from other games and we're like, I want to get that. I want to get that. I want to get this. You're saying all that. You're on Frostbite now. FIFA's on Frostbite. And like I said, there are other games that they have that are already on Frostbite as well. You got your you got Mirror's Edge, you got Mirror's Edge, you got PGA.
One of my favorite games still on Frostbite, and people laugh at me every time I say it. But go look at that environment and look at the physics in that game.
See if you Mirror's Edge.
No, I want to see if you remember it. It was something even before that, and I was like, "Yo, I don't mean no harm, but if they could get the physics from this game and the environment, remember Unravel?
Unravel was that on Frostbite though?
Yep.
Oh, that is. Oh,
okay. That game had some physics wise, man. I mean, I don't know if anybody really played it. I just played the trial. Yo, that game was silly with the physics. Like how you even had to use like an apple to bounce across the little point. Like, dude, it was crazy. The environment, crazy. Like I need to see that level of detail in my sports game. And I know they can do it. And I know, a lot of moving parts. Unravel was just this little yarn that you're controlling. So I know it's a lot of moving parts there in a football game or whatever, but I'm just saying, man. I need to see stuff like that.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, no doubt then. Definitely up for that. But what I'm saying is Rex saying he could pull from all these different games and all that. My thing is, okay, since that's what you're able to do, I hope to see, like what Sim said, implemented right, though, jersey pulls. Because, I mean, we brought it up to Clint. Brought it up to Clint. Twitter and videos and in person talking about it, all that good stuff. We all talked about it. That's the stuff that we need in the game, man. We need that stuff in the game, like major. Because that's going to take that, man. You could stop players with the jersey pull and all that stuff. You could get penalized by where you're grabbing. Oh, man. Come on, dude. That's how you take the game to the next level. And like what Sim said about FIFA, I know that PES is across the way. I understand that. There is a level of competition. But at the same time, soccer, like the NFL, they're all about exclusivity with licensing. PES has certain licenses that FIFA does not have. You see what I'm saying? And vice versa. It's just that FIFA has exclusive licensing for particular leagues that are the more notable ones. So, and that's from listening to people in the soccer crowd comment on this stuff. That's why they get so much mass appeal. You see what I'm saying? That's like the NFL versus the NFL Europe or the CFL. You know what I mean? Like if somebody has a CFL license and say, yeah, we got game coming out. Okay, people will play the game, but it's not going to nearly be as deep as people that play Madden. That's the whole point. So, you know, that's where I get it. But FIFA on that scale there, FIFA real talk, all them units they selling, these guys keep working on gameplay. That's a game that also they have signature abilities and stuff like that on players as well. So, see, they got all that stuff in their game. Guess what happened? Guess who needs that stuff? Madden needs that. All that stuff that's in FIFA, and I've said for the longest time, all the stuff that's in FIFA, put that stuff in Madden, put that stuff in NBA Live with the player movement and all that, and the ball physics and everything, you golden. You are seriously golden. So that's why I'm really looking forward to this second year. Because this will be the first year of them where they got their full team and they're not stretched out and all that. Now they can really put some work in. I want to see what work these guys are going to put in. That's going to be that's going to be a huge deal to me as far as what they're able to do. I'm not putting the weight of the world on it, but I'm just like, it's a big deal because I want to see potentially what they're going to be able to do starting off out the gate, going into this first game on Frostbite, to see what kind of evolution in terms of in the game, outside of visuals, but in the game, what are they really going to be able to do that really puts it on that plateau? You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to, man.
Neff, he said the EA suits need a big bag of weed to clear their heads.
Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, a couple things, man, and you will probably be pretty much wrapped up here, man. Lucky or Lukey, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but look, you got to understand one thing. All of the stuff that we're saying and ideas that we all come up with, they're all great. But you can't lose, and listen, I'm not making an excuse for them or any company, but we have to realize that these companies are companies. So when you say, it needs to have the theme package of, Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC. Dude, we can't lose sight of the fact that there's cost to license all of these things. I mean, think about the NFL now. We've seen the NFL on NFL Network, NBC, ABC, I believe, maybe CBS, Fox. If they do one, now I'm just guessing, and we know how the NFL works. All of these networks are probably going to want a little piece of that. Now, NHL was able to pull that off with the what was that, the NBC theme. Now I don't know if they still have that, but what I'm saying is you got to look at all of that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying we can't lose sight of respecting the fact that it is a business. If you can build your own theme, because this is what I explained when I wrote back to him for you guys who didn't see it. I was like, they use their own theme. It kind of mimics CBS. Why wouldn't you do that? If it was your company, wouldn't you create your own? Think about this. They even said this publicly last year about the commentary. They want it to be known as Madden's commentary. They want to take you further away from Brandon Garden and Davis. They want to take you away from it just being recognizing them as Charles Davis and Brandon Garden. No, they want you to see them as that's the Madden commentary team. Same thing with their presentation package. So I get why they would do that, even though, yeah, I would love to see the Fox theme. Remember one of them games back in the day had the little Fox logo on the bottom? That was cool. But I understand why they might not want to spend the money on that. And I know the comeback for most people going to say, man, they got it. Yeah, come on, man. I get it, but come on, we're talking about a business. Now, one thing I wanted to say real quick, man. Let me see if I can go back and find it. Marquise M had a good point. Let me find it, guys. I'm looking. I should be close to it because where is it? Yeah, Marquise, and then also Smooth. Shout outs to Smooth. Both of them had the same point, and I wanted to comment on that. I absolutely agree with what they're saying here. This is the reason why I've hinted to Rex a couple years now. Listen, man, make CFM the simulation experience, the gameplay, the experience of the NFL, because you're going to have to separate it. Reason being, both of these guys have said, yeah, but if you throw that weather in there, somebody going to be pissed off. They lose a game because, and listen, I know what we all going to say, and I know me and Smitty both agree, hey, that's football. I get it. But I have to be fair to attorney guy. That's not my lane. So I could understand, even as a sim guy, I'm going to be absolutely pissed if I'm playing for 50,000 and something random, like say it's a random occurrence because of the weather, and it's not something that we could really say, oh, that happened. You're going to be blown about that if you lose money. So I get it. So this is the solution. Do like you do now. When you have these tourneys or whatever, it's on certain settings. But that shouldn't stop you from putting these features in the game.
Right.
You just don't cut the weather on. That's a simple solution. But I think it absolutely needs to be a weather effect on field. Like DJ said, the way it affects it in FIFA and PES, he says that the effects are mainly ball physics and player movement. That's wonderful. Now, y'all know old Nutty Sim and old Crazy Smitty. We wanted to get it even more deeper. We would piss y'all off with the sim stuff we want to see. We want to get it to where, hey, if the quarterback ain't wearing gloves, he might have an issue. If he's not a cold weather quarterback, all that kind of stuff would be crazy. Like that's super bells and whistles way down the road. But just on a base level, this is what I would love to see. The weather affecting the ball and player movement, and definitely affecting the ball in the air, like it does on field goals. Let's get that going with passing. Maybe I got to come out there with a short pass game now because, or let's say, me and Smitty meet up and Detroit, here they got to come to Pittsburgh and it's 1 below with snow on the ground. Now Stafford got to think about, man, I got to do checkdowns. Like the ball just ain't going where I wanted to go. That kind of stuff, and it's windy. It's crazy windy out there and the ball is carrying. Maybe you got to throw it sooner. How about this, sim heads? Maybe you got to lead the pass a little to the right so it stays to the right longer before it curves back inside because of the wind. How crazy would that be? Now, I know that would piss a lot of people off, but just think about these kind of things. We say we want sim football, right? So I guess what I'm saying is, man, don't be afraid to innovate put these features in the game just because you have obviously, you know, Madden Challenge and all that, because that's not going anywhere. And you know, let's be honest, it shouldn't. I ain't got no beef with that. But they'll have the settings that they play tournaments on, and then all the other stuff, the real stuff, you can play in CFM or play now. So I think that's an easy solution to that.
Yeah. Pretty much. Just turn it on and off.
Turn it on and off, man.
Yeah. So it's when somebody said play inside of a dome, but I'm like, yeah, Golden Tate was inside of a dome against the Steelers. Nobody hit him at all whatsoever, and he fumbled all by himself.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was costly, dude.
Yeah.
Because I swear the Lions was probably about to score or at least get a field goal on that drive.
Red zone. That was red zone territory. Very close to it. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, that, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we put all these elements, all these different elements and intricate details, like you said, you could go in depth and talk about how weather can impact the player performance. You know what I mean? If he's not wearing gloves or if he's not doing this, it can impact him because he's not as sure-handed. How would it would be cool to have accessories. You put on accessories and that could take away from your game. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have Matt Stafford wear a glove on his throwing hand, but he doesn't throw the ball with the glove on his hand. He's not comfortable with it, so he may take a hit and he may take a slight hit in accuracy because of that. You see what I'm like? You know what I mean? Just there needs to be give and take. There needs to be intricate management, micromanagement that you could do. That's what franchise mode is supposed to be about. There should be a lot of micromanaging going on. And we don't necessarily have that right now. Well, no, we don't really. Like, it's not really there. And lastly, I'll say this real quick because I know we just got like 4 minutes here left, but that's something point that Lucky has said they're real injuries. That was some feedback that I've sent feedback and made videos and made that point many times over. The body diagram from NFL head coach showcasing the injuries and stuff. With the physics they got in the game and the way players be getting hit by multiple defenders or at times defenders hitting their own teammates and stuff, that needs to play a role in progressive fatigue.
Oh, no, but you know, that's going to challenge the notion, Smitty, that, you know, people at EA don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
Even though they had that system before 2K did.
Yeah, they had, yeah.
And this is all we're saying, folks. Listen, I can promise you, anybody that's in these positions know how to create this stuff. I guarantee you that. Josh Lumen, come on now. Do you think if they had the free reign to just balls to the wall, blow out CFM, this man created head coach 09.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, again, me and Smitty take this personal as far as how we prefer to relay information to our crowd. We're not going to be the guys that don't tell y'all. We try to tell y'all the ins and out. Like, that's my mission as a game changer. All that other stuff, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I tweet out stuff every now and then. But no. My mission, personally, we're going to always try to give y'all more insight. I'm telling you, it ain't because that they can't do it. It's just that they're not given the free reign to do it. That is the most simplest answer and the most honest answer that we can tell you. And if you don't believe us, the man has said it himself.
Yep.
So I get the frustration because, you talking about frustrated with CFM? I mean, even outside of us, think about Shop and mad scientists and guys like that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, we all know what needs to be there. It's just that it's a tough fight, man. I mean, and like I could only pray and hope that Rex is right in what he said on the Muttman interview, that he said, listen, you know, we think it's starting to change where we're getting more people at the top to see it our way. Please, please. Me and Smitty are dying to see what 19 has on the table. Because again, we know a lot, but at this moment, and even if we did, we couldn't share it. So let's give you that disclosure. Right. But at this moment, Smitty and I don't know exactly what 19 is doing. So we are as excited as anybody else to see, all right, where we going? Is this the year that, okay, the people at the top are allowing y'all to do some stuff? I'm very curious. We gonna see. That's all I can say.
Yep. That's it.
We should be knowing pretty soon here, but
yeah,
we gonna see. So yeah, man, you know, they got work to do. I mean, that's the obvious. But like I said, I'm not on that. You know, I'm not stating the obvious no more. I mean, and if anybody don't know that we've been saying this, I mean, go do your homework.
Pretty much.
Go look at all the video. I mean, come on, we got years of this stuff here. So, and I respect the fact that some people are new to it, but
right, yeah.
Go check the stats, man. Go look at the history of the fight that we've been on for these years before you start saying, you know, oh, well, they don't know. Come on, man. Y'all get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. But all right, guys, we got to wrap up, man. Smitty, man, you got any last thing to address to the people?
Of course, like always, we appreciate, you know, you guys coming through, hanging out with us this week. Definitely look forward to next week's show. And I mean, hey, if you got topics, let us know. Tweet Sim, you know, his name's SimFBallCritic, at SimFBallCritic on Twitter. Mine is at SmittyD1981 on Twitter. Let us know if you guys got some ideas and things like that, stuff you want to talk about specifically, Madden, 2K, whatever. Let us know so that way we can bring it to the table and definitely discuss it. So, but other than that, y'all be safe and God bless, man. Appreciate all y'all cats out here. Nephew, wild brother.
Bop, bop, bop.
Right.
The bop bop will return, guys. Listen, I plan to start streaming again. Let me announce that real quick before we go. Next week, I'm trying to get a different setup. No secret. I'm just trying. I think I'm gonna cop one of the Elgato green screens. I think I'm finally gonna break down. Because the one I got is not mobile. And I just get tired of moving it and all that. So, and I'm gonna get some a new lighting set. So if it's not next week, it should be the week after. But I'm gonna get back into it, man, and we'll figure out a schedule now that football has come to an end for us, and most of us, the Sundays are over. So I'm probably going to incorporate Sunday during the day, and probably, let's say, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, something like that, or maybe Monday, Tuesday. We'll figure it out. But I will be back soon, man. I know a lot of you people have requested it. I appreciate you guys even caring about that. So I'll get back streaming here soon, man.
Likewise.
But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Great show. Not only do I got to run to tend to the family, but because of Martin Luther King Day, my boss decided for me to come into the office Friday. So I need to get some sleep as well. But appreciate you guys coming through, man. Y'all have a good one. We'll be back next week. And please, if y'all have any topics, hit us up on Twitter. We will archive them and we will discuss them on the very next show. All right. Catch y'all later.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.